everybody, Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity, and in this episode I have a very special treat, at least for me, and I think it will be for you. I am speaking for the fifth or sixth time with guitar great Tommy Emmanuel. It had been probably about 8 years since I last spoke with him, way too long, between the pandemic and schedule conflicts, so on and so forth. Just couldn't make it happen until now. And even with that, wouldn't you know it, there were a bunch of technical gremlins trying to foul up our audio, so we improvised. So when you watch this, you'll hear us referring to something that did not make it onto the recording, I don't think. I'm recording this intro before I actually edit the interview, so I know not very professional, but it's an efficiency thing for me. But in there, I talk about seeing him in concert for the first time, a very special, heart-tugging moment for me. And in there, we also talk about how many times we've chatted together, so on and so forth. But later we get on, we have to talk through the phone. That's why you'll see us both holding our phones up, but then I have this little microphone here picking it up. So you're just both sides of the conversation are going to be on one track. I don't know how well I can edit that, but we persevered and we got it through. He was at his home in the Nashville area, and I was in the Boomerocity studio. So we had a great chat, catching up, all that kind of thing. Talked about his last two albums, which you see the covers behind me, as well as the tour, the guitar camps he's doing, all of that. Very fun interview, very laid back as always, and I think it's going to be something you'll thoroughly enjoy. As always, I ask that you hit like if you're enjoying the chat. Hit subscribe, because I guarantee you that if you love music and you're a baby boomer, odds are very high that you're often going to see interviews on here of people you like. So please go ahead and hit subscribe. It won't cost you a dime. And please share this interview or any of our interviews with those friends of yours who are also baby boomers or into baby boomer targeted music, and ask them to subscribe as well. So without any further ado, here is my latest of what I hope are many more interviews to come with the great Tommy Emmanuel. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care. Let's try that now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. I'm just going to keep this right next to the microphone. That way, unfortunately, folks, you just missed a great story where he shared about his personal impact on me playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I'll just have to tell it in the intros in the interest of time. But Tommy, you've since we last talked too. I mean, you've come out with a bunch of albums.
Yeah.
COVID happened. How did you wrestle through COVID? I'm sure, like a lot of artists, you did a lot of creating and adapting.
I did 3 albums during COVID, and I put myself to work, and I went to California because my wife and my daughter had moved there, and so once everything shut down, I made my way to California and found a place to be over there, and just tried to be with them as much as I could. And I ended up doing stuff like Facebook Live and Instagram Live every week, just so I could play to the world out there, because you couldn't do anything. You couldn't go places, and I had to go to, when you go to the supermarket or gas station, whatever, you got to wear masks and all that. And then I ended up back in Nashville, and I've been here ever since.
Good deal.
And I made a Accomplice 2 album. And that was really great, because during the pandemic, Michael McDonald sent me some of his songs and said, choose one. Yeah. And because I asked him if we could do something together, and so he sent me one of his new songs, one of his greatest vocals I've ever heard. And it's called Somebody Like You. It's a beautiful song. And basically I kept the little drum machine that he was playing to, and I kept his piano and his vocal, and then I took it to the studio, and I put real drums, real bass, and then the guitars, and then we did a little vocal group thing
Oh, cool.
behind his voice, and it turned out really, really nice, you know.
Well, I know you both have bounced back, or you were in L.A. at that time, I take it?
No, I was here.
Oh, was he? Now, he has a place, or did, in Nashville. Was he there too, or was he in the L.A. area?
No, he's in, he lives in, what's that place? Santa Barbara.
Ah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
he's one of those bucket list people that I have that I want to interview someday. He's an amazing artist. And I think, what a talent. Tell me this. Maybe you can answer this question about him. It's not written down, obviously, but I met him on 2 occasions after concerts. And they were 2 weeks apart. Once was in Atlanta, and then the second week was at the Tennessee, where you always play, in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, it was at the Tennessee Theater. I'd met him once, got him to sign an album for me, and then I had another album I forgot to bring with me. So when I saw him in Knoxville, he looks up. I was like one of the last people in line to get, because it was at the stage door. And he looks up, he goes, "Oh, good seeing you again." Does he have a photographic memory? Because we don't know each other.
Yeah. Some people make impressions of you. You know what I mean? So some people meet them once, and you keep seeing them. You know?
Yeah. Well, hopefully it wasn't a bad impression I made on him.
No,
so
it wasn't. And the thing is, Michael he's so clear in here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
He's got such clarity, and when you have that clarity and that presence, you can do stuff like that. You can see someone and go, "Oh, Martha, I saw you 6 months ago with blah blah blah," and they're like, "What? You know, can you do that?" Because I'm clear up here.
Right,
you know?
right. So back to the pandemic thing and your creativity and everything. How does that affect how you perform today?
No, I just give it hell every time. You know? I go all out every day. You know, when I'm playing.
Right, right.
That's how I work. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't hold back. You know, and in fact, the Tennessee Theater was the show that was supposed to be the start of a long tour, and it was the first show, and it was the only show of that tour because we had to turn around and drive the bus back to Nashville, give it back, and go home because we weren't allowed to do anything.
Yeah, man. I hope we never go through something like that again, obviously. But my Lord, what did we learn about people?
Yeah,
during that time,
people will punch each other to get toilet rolls. That's what we learned.
Yeah. I not to indict myself, but my dad was alive at the time, and I was living next door to him. And I just a few months ago finally got through our stockpile.
Oh wow!
So he was very concerned about that, and
I've still got plenty left. If you run out, Randy, just
I'll send you I'll send you a Venmo and just ship it to me. So
you know, I bought a house in England a long time ago, and the guy, it was out in the country, and my neighbour, who was in his early 90s and still farming and a terrific guy, and he had that real Suffolk English accent.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me about the house because he built the house and put the what do you call it, the septic system in it, where the truck comes and empties all the poop and all that. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he says to me, "Oh yeah, boy," he said, if something goes wrong with your plumbing, just shout shit and I'll come running. Well, my little house here is just real simple, and you know, I try to keep my life as simple as possible.
That's wise.
I don't want big houses, and I don't want a studio at home either because I'd never go on the road. You know.
Yeah.
And the only way I can make a living is touring.
Yeah, it's not in records anymore, is it?
No.
Yeah, it's touring and merch. Speaking of records, I've got your last two album covers behind me here. and I'd like to talk to you about them. Tell me a little bit about Living in the Light first.
Well, Living in the Light is my latest project. It's mostly original songs with a couple of vocal tunes, which I really wanted to get to. The song "Waiting for the Times to Get Better" is very appropriate for what's going on in our world right now. I thought it was good timing for that, and it was fun making this record because the guy who co-produced it with me and engineered it is a guy named Vance Powell, and I love his work with Chris Stapleton and Jack White and Little Feat and bands like that. He's just an incredible engineer, an incredible producer, and he's that busy that I had to book him a year in advance, and I could only get him for 4 days.
Wow.
Last year, 4 days. And so I went and had a meeting with him, and he said, I start at 10 every day, I finish at 6. I don't work at night. He said, and I mix as I go. And I said, what do you mean mix as you go? You mean we agree on the take and then you mix? He said, yep. I said, okay, let's do it. So I got the whole album finished, mixed, and mastered in 4 days.
Wow, that's pretty much unheard of, isn't it?
Well, my earlier albums like Endless Road, The Mystery, they were 2 days.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was just me.
Gotcha.
With this album, I did some drums and some bass and electric guitar on one track, and pretty much everything else. Jelly Roll loaned me his backing singer, Crystal. She came in for an hour, and I taught her all the backing parts for the song Maxine. And we had a great time, and she was right on time. We got it all done in an hour.
Wow!
So,
wow, full efficiency there.
Well, I'm Mr. Efficiency in the studio. I don't like wasting time, and I don't like laboring over stuff. I know what I'm doing. Let's get it.
Get to it.
To me, recording is not manufacturing something, it's capturing something.
That's a good point. I've never heard it put that way, but that's a good point.
Well, it's that's how I look at it. If I can't get it in the first or second take, then there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm. The song in the unrecorded intro here that when we were talking about Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and the friend that turned me on to you, friend from high school. I was going through stuff after she told me about you, and I was listening to different things, and I come across Initiation, which made me that grabbed me by the throat and never let go. So I noticed on Living in the Light you did Initiation 25.
Just
talk about that.
Update it.
Okay.
And what I did, if you go onto YouTube and have a look at the video, that's the take. I only played it once.
Wow.
That's the take that's on the record, and then I overdubbed some other things on top of it. But I put my amplifiers on the ground and set up a delay, a digital delay between them, and then I just stood over the amps and played it like that, and we mic'd the whole room, and everything. Yeah.
I think that's one of the most amazing acoustic accomplishments. I'm a big Phil Kagi fan. He lives in your neck of the woods, and he does a lot with with layering and looping and all that kind of stuff.
He does it so great.
Yeah, and I mean, he was probably one of the grandfathers of that technique, I think. But then when I realized, I watched you perform that in Dallas that I was telling you about. And it was like, holy crap, how is he doing all this stuff? It was amazing, man. And that's still one of my go-tos. And then, was it Morning Air?
Morning Air,
yeah.
I still play Morning Air from time to time. In fact, Steve, my tour manager, who's also my sound man, that's the song he always says, are you going to play Morning Air tonight? He just loves that song. So.
I do too. I've gone to sleep to it. I've relaxed to it. Sometimes on my personal social media, I'll put it out there saying, calling in a night with this tune playing in the background. And I share the audio or the video from YouTube of you performing that. And to me, that's just one of in fact, In fact, I just realized this, Tommy. Like I told you, my dad passed in October, and we did a slide presentation at the end of the memorial service, and the slide was done to Morning Air.
Oh,
and it
thank
was,
you, brother. Thanks for letting me be a part of your inner circle there. I appreciate that.
Well, the song was perfect, and especially at the end where you're doing that, that at the very end.
Yeah.
And it just kind of it ended with him waving goodbye. And probably, if I do say so myself, one of the most moving personal videos I'd ever seen in my life, even though it's about my dad. But that was, again, that's what your music has meant to me all these years. And I love getting the word out about you. What does Living in the Light mean to you as a title?
It means the light of the world, this living in the positive spirit of our world, and not thinking about, well, I must be in charge, and all this kind of stuff. It's like letting go and going with the flow, just trusting that there's a power out there that knows better than me, and I'm not in charge.
Yep.
And so if I live in the light and I do my best to put my attention to the help of other people, then the light's always going to be there for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I will, if you don't mind me adding to that, I mean, I live the same way, and I've learned that if I step back away from the spectator sport of political turmoil, and focus on my neighbor and those around me.
There you go.
Because when it comes right down to it, I got in an argument with a friend once over our guy, my guy versus their guy. And it almost ended a friendship. And I think it was literally God speaking to me saying, Randy, you're about to lose a dear friend over a politician that doesn't even know you exist.
Exactly.
And it hit me. I mean, it didn't change my political thinking at that time. And since then, I've evolved some. But to me, what you just said and the unifying power of music, to me, is just a powerful thing to be accomplishing, especially in your role.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Yeah.
So tell me about the live album at the Sydney Opera House.
The live album was recorded in 2023 on my tour in Australia, and I did two shows on a Sunday. I did a 3:00 and an 8:00 show at the Sydney Opera House, and we recorded and filmed both shows. Mm-hmm. And so when I come to mix that album, it's mostly. I'd say 3/4 of the first show and 1/4 of the second show. I found some things that I really liked in the second show, but there was something really so beautiful and spontaneous and everything in that first show. And we so Steve, my sound man, he was able to tap in and get all the mics in the room that were you can't see them, but they're in the wall. Right, so you can film, you can record the sound from all around the room. Right, it's about 2,500 people like that all around, and then there are mics coming down like that over the top of the stage to catch orchestra and stuff. We used all those as well. And then he put little microphones on the stage to capture the sound of the hall coming back to me on the stage and stuff like that.
That's why that sounds so different. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, yeah. And the guy who I mixed that album with, Mark DeSisto, he's done most of my albums except for the Living in the Light. And holy smoke, he did an amazing job on this, on that album. I'm just so pleased how it came out,
Mm-hmm. Was that your first stint at the Sydney Opera House?
No, I first played at Sydney Opera House in 88.
Ah, okay. So, I mean, being that you're from that neck of the woods, I imagine the first time and maybe every time, is it like while you're there, you kind of going, holy crap, I'm playing the Sydney Opera House.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's, holy crap, I'm in Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
Holy crap, I'm in the Tennessee Theater. And I'm in the Chet Atkins dressing room. Holy
Yeah, and Ryman. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. And the Ryman, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't take this stuff for granted, because I dreamt about it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living my childhood dream,
mm-hmm.
being here talking to you today, and going on the Opry tonight and
mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And then this is what I dreamt about, what I saw in my little mind,
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that was my destiny, and I had no doubt whatsoever. I just didn't have a clue how it was all going to work out.
Wow, I love it.
I was too busy trying to work out how to play Chet's new tune. Stuff like that. That's what kept me busy.
Well, and you mastered it well. I want to jump to something else, and that's your guitar camp you're going to be doing, if I'm labeling it correctly, in Austin?
Yeah. In Austin.
Right. You're going to have a friend of mine there, I think. Is Andy Timmons going to be with you there?
Andy will be there,
yeah.
And Andy's one of my dear buddies, and I met him when he was playing with Olivia Newton-John,
mm-hmm.
And him and I played some festivals together in Italy, and because he's a big Beatles nut and so am I, so we played a whole set of Beatles.
Wow.
Together, and he's got that beautiful orchestral rock way of playing melody and stuff,
mm-hmm.
and I like being the band. I like being Paul and Ringo and all that.
Yeah. So
it was a really, really great thing.
We lived in the same neighborhood until my divorce there in McKinney. And but
McKinney, that's right.
Yeah. So my funny story about him is how I became aware of him. Even I was at the Dallas Guitar Show 13, 14 years. No, it had to be 17 years ago. And a buddy of mine and I were there, and all of a sudden we just hear this song, and it turned out to be "Cry for You," and we just almost levitated to the room in that hall to where Andy was playing that song. And then I ran into him at a half-price books in McKinney. I said, "Hey, aren't you Andy Timmons?" He smiles. He's always got that heart of gold and very warm. And he said, "Yeah, I am." And I said, "Hey," I told him about Boomerocity. I said, "I'd love to interview you." And he goes, "I'd love to." So we met at the local Starbucks, and that's when I was only doing audio then. And I mean, I've interviewed him several times since then, and it just... Right. Amazing soul. But so I know you got your title time. A couple more quick questions, and that is,
okay, go ahead.
Knoxville. You're going to be playing Knoxville. What can us fans expect from you there?
Well, I'll be covering a lot of the new stuff from the new album, and I will pay my homage to Chester Burton Atkins from Luttrell, Tennessee,
mm-hmm.
As always, and never forgetting the importance of Merle Travis, because Chet said to me, "I'd be looking at the rear end of a mule if it wasn't for Merle Travis." In other words, I'd be out there plowing the ground.
Right.
And Jerry Reed and people like that, Hank Williams, Jimmy Rogers, all those people that helped shape my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my first show in Knoxville. It was in Ostley Circus.
Mm-hmm.
Ostley Circle. Yeah, it was a ladies' bridge club.
Yep. That's what I heard.
It was packed to the rafters, and the promoter was the Chet Atkins Society, and the guy. I still had like 10 minutes to go before I was due on stage, and I was just getting dressed and I was tuning, and I hear him talking to the crowd, and then he introduces me. He hasn't even said he was going to do that. And it was hilarious because the people were so rowdy, and they were like, "Come on, yeah." And so and I came out in my T-shirt. I said, "Settle down. It's 10 minutes to 8. I start at 8. I'll see you in a minute." and then I came out and I hosed the hell out of them for about 15 minutes, and they were yelling and screaming and jumping up after every song and everything. And then this voice says, "Hey, tell us how you met Chet." And I looked over and I said, "You be quiet. I'm running this show." And everybody roared laughing, and it was the guy who the big guy who builds homes in Knoxville. Clayton.
Clayton Home.
Jim Clayton.
Yeah.
Jim Clayton. It was Jim Clayton Homes, and I didn't know that. Anyway, he says, "Tell us how you met Chet." I said, "You be quiet. I'm running this show." Everybody roared laughing, and then in the intermission, one of his friends came up and said, "Do you know who that guy was?" And I said, "It's just somebody I was having fun with." He said, "That's Jim Clayton from Jim Clayton's Home." I said, "I hope he's having a good time." He was coming up to sass me, and I swapped the roles around.
Well, ironically, our first interview together, you and me, I think you were either on your bus or in the hotel room in Knoxville, and I was still in Dallas at the time. And
okay.
So that it's funny how Knoxville is kind of pivotal to you and to our relationship as far as interviewing. And so that was very cool. Very quickly, what's on your agenda for the rest of the year that fans can watch out for?
Well, there's some more. I'm finishing the year here in America. I'm doing like an East Coast tour and finishing with 3 shows down in Florida. And then I'm going to England for Christmas with my daughters and my granddad Judy's will be there. And I've got a bunch of dates coming up. I've got guitar festivals in France, Germany, Corsica, Italy.
Wow.
And then I've got let's see. I'm busy right for the rest of the year,
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got a long tour next year of Canada. Molly Tuttle and I are joining forces and going from one side to the other of Canada.
Very cool.
So that's going to be fantastic. She's so great to work with.
Yeah, she's an amazing talent. Well,
that's for sure.
Well, Tommy, thanks for jumping through hoops to make this chat happen, even with all this technical crap that happened. And I plan on seeing you in Knoxville. Maybe I can sneak backstage and shake your hand.
I think you know where to go, brother.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So, stay safe and healthy.
Thanks for sticking with it. I really appreciate that.
Well, likewise. All right, take care.
Brother.
All right, take care. Yeah. Bye-bye. This has been another fun-filled episode of Boomerocity with your host and producer, Randy Patterson. The theme song for Boomerocity is Roll the Dice and is recorded and used by permission from Quentin Hope. Quentin is spelled Quinten, and Hope is H-O-P as in Paul, E. And you can find out more about Quentin Hope and his music at quintenhope.com. Post-production is done by Cardinal Sins Productions. The Boomerocity name, logo, and content is copyright protected. Segments may only be used with written permission by Boomerocity and or its assignees. Inquiries should be directed to input@boomerocity.com. Copyright 2026.